Hi everyone, and welcome to the lecture video, Why Are Research Methods Important? Now, if this title doesn't make it obvious, in this lecture video, we're going to discuss why the topics of research methods is so important to study, even, even for those students who do not plan on continuing into a research-related career. So why is research methods important? One of the questions that I often pose to my students is how research impacts their life. Now, many students identify research as influencing their education and their course knowledge, but most students are unaware of how much research is really present in your everyday life. We see research outcomes presented to us on television, in advertisements, on the radio, from our friends, and online. Those of you old enough to remember the classic 4 out of 5 dentists can understand how something even as insignificant as a toothpaste commercial can contain research findings. And in today's online world, I think we're even more bombarded by research. I'm constantly finding research output on my Facebook and my Twitter feed that are shared by those friends who support the research findings. And I'm sure you've all experienced similar shares on your own social media accounts. The thing to keep in mind is that we're usually not getting the research from the original source. Most people don't enjoy the dry academic speak of peer-reviewed journals. So we read research summaries from secondary sources like news agencies, online media, etc. The problem is that the people summarizing the information before you may distort or misunderstand the research goals and findings, so that by the time you get the actual information, it's unrecognizable by the original author. I love how this comic from PhD Comics illustrates this research telephone process. The original research study found that A is statistically correlated with B, given C, assuming D, and under E conditions. Now, by the time the research is jazzed up, summarized, and shared repeatedly, you get your grandma building tinfoil hats to protect against A. Now, obviously, most interpretations are not this severely different, but you can see how the process of communicating research studies accurately can be really challenging. The goal of this course is to provide you with the skills to be a critical consumer of research. When your neighbor comes over and tells you she read a study that if you eat ice cream every day, it's going to help you lose weight, I want you to have the skills and the knowledge to locate the original source and to critically analyze the research study. Was the purpose of the original study related to ice cream and weight loss? Were the methods sufficient to answer this question? Did the researcher even conclude that ice cream caused weight loss? And if so, were these conclusions valid based on the research design and the methodology? Through this process of critical assessment, you can decide which research conclusions should impact your life and which should be questioned or even ignored entirely. Still not convinced? For those of you interested, there's a great video about research distortion that I've posted on my website that relates to this module. John Oliver did a segment on research methods, and in it, he discussed a research study that went viral after the study proved that farts cure cancer. Now, it turns out that the researchers never actually mentioned farting at all in their paper. They were researching the effects of hydrogen sulfide on mitochondrial damage, and only mentioned the fact that hydrogen sulfide was naturally produced by the human body in passing. Now, however, once the media figured out that hydrogen sulfide is excreted by passing gas, the snazzy headline, "Farts Cure Cancer," was too exciting to resist. The study went viral really quickly as a result, and it led to several ridiculous headlines like the ones pictured here on this slide. In fact, they had to do follow-up studies telling people, don't smell your partner's farts because it's not a cure. Now, hopefully, you don't need research methods to tell you don't smell your partner's farts. But the fact that even a finding so tiny can be distorted into what sounds like really significant findings shows you how important this type of course can be. So even if you're not intending on pursuing graduate work or you're not looking at a career requiring research skills, you're still going to get a lot of useful information out of this course. All right, well, that concludes this lecture video. Short and sweet, right? Thanks for watching, everyone.